Hi there, I'm doing a flip through of this lady's book, this journal. The cover, before altered, was an actual 1800s ladies book, and she was on the cover, so I made a separate little mini book out of her. The side is nicely beaded, some glass beads, including some lampwork beads here, a domino that I've altered, and this is like I think it's a SamPooledesign. I have lots of beads here, lots of natural stone ones. There's maybe one acrylic, but the others are metal and very nice quality. Beaded applique goes all the way down, and she's a big one. She's 10 inches by 7 1/4, roughly 84 pages, front to back. That's approximate. And I put this very old key with using some very old lace. I've got new laces, antique laces, vintage laces all through here. Very little new, maybe a few appliques that aren't so old. But there I used all the book pages, and all my backgrounds are from very old papers. I have it tied with a muslin tie that I have sewn on this very old piece of lace, a really pretty light blue applique. Colors of this journal are tan, beige, light blue, and I have more lace down here, and I love how this from the second page just falls at the bottom. Some seam binding that holds in this little journal, and I just have an embossed piece that I've added a little gold, wore it out, distressed it, and isn't she pretty? There's some crazing on the paper, but I've sealed it and cut it out and used this beautiful background of this house from Sacred Mementos. Open up, there's a little pocket here, background pretty there, a little velvet strip for the pages, little tuck spot here, and I will add a couple little things for that. Piece of old ledger, basically coffee dyed, tea dyed paper, some ledger, some very old, this is from it's great paper. It's a blank sheet from a very old French ledger, and I have more of that here. So just for writing, and I'm gonna set her aside while we open it up. And this is, I'm gonna make sure I am centered in there. This is the first pages, and I kept the inside cover page for this. I just think it was so pretty, and it's all the color tones. Put some scraps of lace here and some fabric there. And you know how much I love gesso. So gesso is over all of the collaging. This is a double pocket. This here and here are vintage laces, and so it is a double pocket. So what I did here is I altered a candy box, and it's thin, but I altered it in the style of the book itself. And now this is more for if you're new to my channel. I make books that are more like keepsake books. There's areas for writing in different things, and a little bit on the pages itself, but lots of areas for pockets and tucks and ephemera, and just to put, maybe some mementos in it. So these are from old magazines from the 1800s, and I just loved the ladies in the black and white. And this has a little area for tucking in, and just a little writing journal here. And I thought that was cute, that it fit right in there. And then you just tuck it in the little flap, and I put it in here. Obviously, you can put that anywhere you want. This page is just some embossing here on an old piece of music paper, and I just, had to back it up. An altered paper clip here, a little bit of an altered bullnose clip here, a key charm, and I used some seam binding and added this little clip here. And this is I'm not going to go over all the letters and stuff because there's just so much ephemera. I wouldn't be able to get through all of it. But an old letter written in French. There's French language stuff, Dutch language things, and this is just a little sewed on piece of ephemera. It's from a digital, and when I get to it later today or tomorrow, I'll make sure I put that in the description box of, you know, just some shops that I've used. Very few digitals in this. And this says Paris, Chateau Paris, and I thought that really looked good. And I love how this is sheer, and you can see the pocket behind it. And I just thought that was really pretty. So, here is backgrounds. I added a few scraps of lace, made a little bow here with the tie coming down. These are just little tuck spots that I have made tags in using the same, you know, same papers from the old ladies book magazines. And this here is a digital, but the old music page, women's magazine, girls' own paper piece here. All of it's old, all of it's been distressed, and I won't say grungy, but it's grubby. It doesn't have a lot of inks in it, and I just didn't want that look for this. Made a big journal card here, so it could be written on in the back for sure. And this is from a magazine, and I absolutely adore this lady here. I loved it in the paper, and it is all the original papers. And I like this little tuck with a bow over here, another altered paper clip, and it just highlighted her, and I just love her. Some vintage lace on the end. I just imagined, you know, for an older book, like a vintage antique book, that for a lady who put all of, you know, different things in there and kept little scraps, and like a scrapbook, just laid things in there. This is an old letter in French, and a receipt here, an old postcard, and that is behind it where there's areas for writing. A beautiful applique. I did some decoupage here for this rice paper, edged it out with some old scraps. An old letter written in French language, and I'll let whoever do that translate it and read it. I just love the handwriting in it. And so this is a little tuck that I've just added this little rusted paper clip. Let me make sure I get completely in frame. And I just added a little vintage lace there in a light blue. So this side has a tag that I made and a little flinch card that I've altered on the front. And this is from, they're all originals. This is just a piece of a receipt in the young lady's own book here, in a very tiny, small book. I loved the print. A little French vocabulary card, and I'll let whoever go through that a little bit more. A vintage postcard, and it is a French one. And use this old tatting piece here, and it's just so pretty. And I didn't want to cover it up too much with stuff. So the background, I loved this piece here as well. And the books are just phenomenal. But the gesso is so much that I would take a black ink pen or gel pen and write on top of that if you wanted to. I made this tuck here, and I like making little places where you wouldn't think to add a little note or a little you know, secret thing. And so there's little openings here on purpose. And there's a couple of pieces of beautiful ephemera in here. And this is from the 1800s, 1864. And it's that beautiful light blue paper, very thin, and a hotel receipt from long ago as well, 1800s. I made this journal card here out of a vocabulary card, English, French, and I had this little envelope thing that I thought would be cute to put a word or two in. And I just altered this digital here, made a pocket, and it is gusseted, meaning it just gives it that little extra room in there. But this one seems to feel pretty tight still, but added her, yes, I fussy cut. Those of you know I'm not a fan of it. I added all the little trim. Here's an applique. This is a print. And if you can tell, there's a little bit of a gold sheen that I've added some gold gilding polish here and there on it. I didn't want to overwhelm it. I wanted to still make it easy to write on. And some of those dresses. So it's, you know, fashion and I just loved the tone of the magazines themselves. And when I say magazines, it's still that newspaper feel to it. Lots of gesso in the back here. Added this piece of this long mirror, and I thought these pieces of ephemera really go well. I did support each page, as I typically do, because I do heavily embellish things, and I just wanted it to hold up long term. So hopefully whoever gets this, you know, will be easy on it, but that'll last them a long time. A little mini book that I put this cover of this girl reading a book here. She has a book in her hand, so I just liked that. And a little pocket here that I've put a piece of ephemera. Loved that image here in the background, and some ruffle down here. Made this flip up of paper that can be journaled on, written on, a place still that you can flip up and use the background either to write on. This piece here is from the Friend newspaper from 1853, and it's that really nice rag, pulpy cotton feel to it. A letter here, an old letter, and I loved the poem that it says, "I wonder if he loves me," and it's just a little poem from one of the magazines that I cut out, and I liked the image, and I felt like it went good together, of this beautiful lady. And it's a tight squeeze, but it fits in there. I did some sewing, little flower there, tatting on the end here. And this is a very old cover of a folded letter, and it's got areas to journal in the back. And I added this deed, and I wanted to flip it this way just to show so much of this beautiful writing. And that is from 1884, I believe. And it's got lots of that beautiful writing. It doesn't want to fold that way, because it's not a natural way, but I liked how it looked behind there. Added this little piece from a very old lace, and I believe it was from a corset. Not sure, but I did use this in quite a few journals. I've been hoarding the last pieces, you know. Here's a vintage postcard, and it is raised, and I just liked the gold in it. And this here has a little bit of the pinkish purple in there as well as blue, so I thought it matched really well. This is from 1913. A very old letter. Look at that. It's just that thin blue, lots of writing. It's French, and it's from the 1800s. I didn't do a hard fold on that, just kind of rolled it. And some sheer area here of this piece. This is from an old autograph book from the 1800s. So this is addressing Emma, and it has a little area in the back that's plain if you wanted to write on it, or whoever gets this wants to write on it. And I liked this piece. I think it went well. This piece of ephemera here and here. These two I've made a pocket out of, and I reinforced this area. And then in the back, now this is a really heavy book as well. In the back, there's areas to be journaled on. And I added just some old receipts, and I'll let somebody go through this. There's an old letter. I believe it's a love letter there. And it just ties up into a bow. I added this little piece here and made sure that I included a little area, a little tuck spot here with an old vintage calling card and trading card. Here as well has a flip of paper, and I just thought she was a really pretty lady here. And I liked how that looked, and of course it flips up, so no space is, you know, not taken up by it. So here's an applique piece, again, more pieces from the ladies book, one of the issues. And this is an authentic sampler piece from France, and there's the tag that is on it. This could be just tossed aside. This is an announcement card from 1901. And there's area here. I thought that would be really nice to write something on it. Some more beautiful ladies. An old rusted pin. I've added this applique here at the bottom. A side pocket, so it's open in the side and the top. A couple of old receipts here. Another piece of ephemera with a piece of lace, some digital on the back there, which I just really loved because it's in the softer tones, but it's on a piece of old ledger. Just used these to, and I altered them, put a couple of little flower designs in the blue colors. Just added some gesso on it so it would all match. Put a few little things in there, another altered flinch card, and a little scrap of a note and some tickets. Here I added some vintage buttons, some older than the other. Made this little tie at the bottom with a hoop. So anything really could be hooped through there, but a very old button here, the mother of pearl buttons, which I love. I added the string and the upholstery thread in it, added this piece of lace in the back with a little tag and rusted pin. Made a tuck here with a very old receipt from the 1800s. This is a side pocket that I made from a digital, added some sewing. You've got multiple letters in this, a vintage postcard. It's just packed. This whole book is just packed with ephemera. Made this piece here. Now this is some digital. There's a couple of pieces of old book page. Put this applique here. Added lots of gesso. So I would definitely just write on top of that if I had this book to keep. An old menu, and I thought it's in French. And I just think that's so pretty. Look at that writing. And it's signed in the back. So whoever may have attended, they all signed it. I thought that was really kind of cool. A vintage postcard here. And I'm obsessed with ladies' dresses. I just really love this time period. And that's just an old postcard. I made this little flip. This was from an old book that I had. So I made a flip up here and the tuck in there. This is also a pocket. And this has some very old receipts. This one's a railroad receipt from the 1800s. And this one it's French, and it's got some French stamps in there. So this page, I just added some pieces from the magazine. I thought, if somebody's this is from a French magazine. If somebody liked it, or the lady who owned the book, liked it, she would just add little pieces here and there, not necessarily glue them down. But I love the background, lots of little ads, and I just get a kick out of those. Altered this paper clip here with a little cameo and some lace. This is an extra, this is the center, this is the little extra booklet. Added the little young lady's journal here and another one of those profile pictures. And really this is just tied with sari ribbon. And I just added just some pieces here. Definitely something that can be written on, notes taken, but still kind of separate. So maybe a little extra diary or something. And there. A piece here, you can see the little gold on that, and I loved this coffee dyed piece. And if I remember everybody's where I've used things or got things from, I'm going to add that to the description box, so pay attention to that if you're interested. Made a pocket here, and it is gusseted. I made a little booklet of just little papers. This is one of the inside cover photos of the actual book. And that has lots of area. You could use it in another journal, but it's very fragile. But I would add a few words to it, or maybe, glue on a piece of hard paper in the back. I liked these little poetry columns that are in some of these old books. And I used this in other poetry areas. Little piece of ledger there, 1832. And this is just so pretty. I just love the writing, and I love the light brown tones in it. And here's just a vintage piece of like a collar, and I just love this image. The tones came out really good, the black with the beige. I'm just obsessed about it, and really you just have to flip it like that because it's kind of upside down a little. These dresses are just amazing. Again, I just added lots of gesso. There is lots of texture in all of this. I added I just put a little snippet together of some laces and and some little, like this one's really old. This is from old doll clothes that I have a collection of, and I'm starting to use more and more of it. This is my little tribute to Jane Austen, these two pages. I don't know, it just ended up that way. It reminds me of one of the big houses from there, and this is a print. I've backed it with some of that ledger, the blank ledger paper from the 1800s. It's got great texture, but easy to write on each side. I used this image. Now, this was just a free image that I have, that I own, and it is a gusseted pocket, so it does lift a little more than typical tucks and pockets. And this I did buy from somebody on Etsy a while back when Sanditon first came out, and this is one of the quotes from the movie. But look at, she drew all that. Isn't that nice? And I loved buying stuff from other artists, so I like to contribute to that. This is an old Jane Austen postcard. So it's got one of her little quotes on it, and I thought that went well. This is, I believe, her house, and the Chawton Cottage, one of her places that she lived in. And this is a tuck if you wanted to add anything, but here's that little secret tuck that I like to make here and there. And this is an old book page from that very, very small ladies book, and just a little scrap of paper with a Jane Austen quote on there. This side is a dress digital that I have, and I've used this dress in many, many of my journals. Just a digital of this floral pattern. Made this little tuck here and added this little letter from 1882. I said I wasn't going to show it all, but I get excited when I see the ephemera and just how pretty it looks with the pages. And this was another artist that I purchased some cards like this, and she adds you know, the almost laminated feel to it. It's glossy, but that is from Pride and Prejudice, and I believe that's Jane, and that can just tuck in there, and I like how she sticks out there a little bit. And then this page, this is from one of the old ladies magazines, and this is a picture of Victoria and Albert, and I just think that's so pretty. And I just put this little "My Love" with a little piece of sari that's, you know, embroidered a little bit there. And it left this blank on this pretty coffee dyed paper, and just added this lady. It's almost like she's looking on. Lots of area to write there. A blank page, woo, that you can be written on. Made this tuck here and added some vintage lace and some receipts, another old letter, an old telegram, but look at how pretty. That is just so pretty. And it's on an old ledger back here. I backed it with this really pretty crochet piece and vintage lace. This, as well as the other side of that ledger, little blue appliques, a saying here, and a little bit of piano. They go together. Info on this from one of the pages. Made this tuck spot here, or a pocket, I should say. Added I think it's a bus ticket. It's French, and it's got a little fold in it. It's old, and a little calling card. And look at how pretty. And it opens up. And it's a forget-me-not. And I just have two. These are actually two separate tucks, and I left this open so whatever's put in here can still be reached. Love this little poem. And added little lace. This is from some of that doll clothing. This is a flip up here, areas to write, another little piece of a poem, and more in the background, an old announcement from 1888, and it's that beautiful blue color, a blue folded, I think it's an invoice or a letter. This one looks like it's a letter. Yeah, it's a letter. And it's got that beautiful embossed, like, notarization type thing, stamp. 1860 some, but it's just so pretty. And I just left this as a tuck. I left the date on this because I thought it was cool, from 1888. Again, more of this more of this doll clothing. That I made a pocket out of this one, and it's an old button, and it's just got that old vintage cotton feel. And this is more of like the little children's area, I guess. So I have this cute, adorable picture. Look at that. A carriage. I mean, and there's even a little dog on there. I love that picture. And I took a piece of that where I used the blank ones. This is a French ledger, and it's got that really nice feel, but it's in really good, strong condition. And it's got French words and stuff, some young girls' dresses there. So I just added this. And I used a piece of broken jewelry up here. I do like to do that. This has a little bit of a lift to it. I gusseted the sides. Vintage lace here. This is from the Use Companion from 1852. Added this little Victorian-esque bookmark, or I used it as a bookmark, but it's definitely like a tag. And there's a couple of old receipts. Another piece of old, it's an old document, and I like to use pieces like this. This is all French. And I even like that background, those pictures of those girls. And here's just a piece of ribbon in the blue tones, another poetry piece here, a vintage picture, and a piece of that blank paper to be written on, or a little note or something. Added some more of that sheer piece that I had, a blue applique here and here. Added the blue pieces in the background with some book page. Made a flip out of it so you can, areas in the back, old ledger and coffee dyed, tea dyed paper in the back to be written on. And I just loved her. I had to add her. I just certain ones just get me, and I liked that one very much. And some more of that crochet down here. I love how everything just sticks out. I don't know, just my thing. Here is some more different papers. Added some more. I tied it on there or sewed it on there. It's just a piece of broken jewelry. An old piece of tablecloth with some little pieces of old lace. Crocheted on both sides there. Used this old doily to make a tuck spot with a couple more receipts. And there's the background. This is my hat page. The ladies here have just the cutest expressions on their faces, and it's about hats. So I found this image in my stuff, and I'm like, oh, there's some cute hats there too, but look at their shirts. Oh, goodness. I just love it. And this one has, I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but this has such a lot of detail on there. And her necklace, oh, goodness, I love that. And an old postcard from Cousin Allison, I think it says, but it's embossed, and I just thought the colors went good. Another altered paper clip. I try to do something to, each paper clip or tuck that I do. And I do have charms on most of them. This is a little flower charm. And I altered this flash card. You can see part of the number here, and it just put some extra pieces on there. A little area to write something down. Another piece of a different ledger from 1888. And these ladies are on the back. They're looking at it. And here's a vintage receipt from the 1800s. It's that bluish green and a little bit toned here. And a background of different papers, just some collage. An old beaded piece there that I attached to the rusted bowl clip. And if we unclip that, it's a fabric flip. And this is just French writing on the fabric. And it flips up for areas to write. And I just added these pieces of beaded applique on it. And just wanted to keep that secure down. I altered this envelope here and matched it up, fairly well. It was very fragile, so there was a tear here. And as I was, putting it on there and attaching it, it's just, I love how that looked now. I like that that's in there. And you open that up. I did do the inside as well as the outside, and added original ephemera in both of these pieces, and this lovely lady here. And this side is just got the old book page. This was another piece, and it's the same of that really thin cotton of the doll clothing. It had natural little rust pieces on there. Put this old button here and made a side pocket, and I just made this tag here and to add here, but you could put a little picture in there or whatever. There we go. And then made a pocket out of this digital, did some sewing. Another one of those really light blue, greenish receipts from 1845, I believe that says. And these pages here, I like how that sticks out for this page as well. It says ladies' costumes, and the cape and the coat and the design of them is on there. I love that. Here's another photograph of these lovely, lovely girls. And a receipt here from the 1800s. And it does flip. This could be written on. That's just part of the receipt here. And it just added these little tucks. Well, this is just an added piece. But I really liked this front page. It's from 1892. So it just tucks in there. Something could be added under there. I just didn't want to cover that up. Little pearl charm on that. Altered this blue tag here and added some seam binding and vintage lace. A receipt from 1919, and that is the back of that. Just decoupaged on this glassine bag, and added the slightest amount of little crystal. Again, took some of the sheen off just to give it a more aged look. And this is from 1827, and it's got the original ribbon piece on there, and that's blue. And it's almost like a construction paper feel. And it opens up, and it's got the document in there. Now, I don't know if it's all in there, but it looks like it. And the little seal here, the raised seal, and beautiful French handwriting. And that's the back. So I just thought that was a really, really nice piece to add to it. The back here, I just added more collage. This pocket in the back, I've got a letter here, and I have a vintage postcard that's got the metallic and the blues in there, and it's also got some shine on it. And that's the back page, so that was the original back cover of the book. And this is really neat, and I loved that it has the old blue ribbon on there, and it's all in Dutch, I believe. Isn't it from 1948? And lots of area to journal on if you wanted to. But I like how that stuck out at the top. So I like how the blue ribbon just kind of folds there. And that is the back. Okay, I hope everybody in the U.S. has a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I have I have a smaller book. This is quite large and heavy with, lots of ephemera in it. I do have a smaller one that I've already started of a different theme. And I'll have that hopefully done by Christmas time. So you can check in the description box if this is still available on Etsy or not. And have a great day. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.